I was 27 when this happened, and I swear to you, if I didn't live through it myself, I'd never believe it. At the time, I worked night shifts as a systems monitor at a remote military facility in the desert. I wasn't a soldier, just a civilian contractor with a security clearance and a paycheck big enough to keep me from asking too many questions. My job was boring 99% of the time. I sat in a control room with 3 monitors, keeping an eye on sensors, power outputs, and environmental readings. If anything went out of range, I logged it. That was it. I didn't carry a gun, I didn't have authority, and I definitely wasn't supposed to wander outside of my assigned sector. Most nights were the same. Fluorescent lights buzzing above me, the air dry enough to chap my lips, the clock dragging toward dawn. I'd sip stale coffee, scroll through logs, and fight off sleep. Sometimes I'd pace the corridors just to stay awake. The place always felt too empty, like the walls swallowed sound. But there was something odd about the facility. It was way too large for the handful of staff on rotation. Huge wings of hallways were sealed, marked with restricted. Entire levels existed on the schematics that I never once had access to. I figured it was all classified research. I didn't care. Until that night. It started with a flicker on my screen. One of the environmental monitors registered a power surge, but in a zone that shouldn't exist. The ID code didn't match any of my normal maps. At first I thought it was a glitch, but the spike repeated. My curiosity got the better of me. I should have ignored it. I should have filed a ticket and gone back to my coffee. Instead, I decided to check. That was the last normal night of my life. The hallways were colder than usual when I stepped out of the control room. The concrete echoed under my boots, the hum of distant machinery vibrating through the walls. I followed the reading on my handheld scanner, watching the numbers climb as I moved deeper into the restricted sector. I wasn't supposed to be there. My badge shouldn't have worked, but when I swiped it against the steel door, the light blinked green, almost like the system wanted me inside. Behind the door was a stairwell. It smelled faintly metallic, like ozone after lightning. I descended carefully, each step creaking with my weight. The deeper I went, the stronger the hum grew, like some massive generator pulsing under the earth. At the bottom, I found another door, heavier, reinforced, with no windows. When I pressed my badge, the lock clicked open. My heart raced. I knew this was way beyond my clearance, but something pulled me forward. The air was freezing, sterile, and smelled faintly of chemicals. The room stretched like a warehouse dimly lit by overhead lamps. Rows of unmarked crates stacked to the ceiling. Some were stamped with symbols I didn't recognize. Circles intersecting with lines, almost geometric but alien. I walked closer. One of the crates was cracked open, its lid tilted just enough to peek inside. I expected weapons or maybe tech prototypes. Instead, it looked like a piece of metal, but not like any alloy I'd ever seen. It shimmered faintly, bending light around its surface. When I touched it, it was warm. Too warm. Then I heard it. A low, guttural sound from deeper in the lab. Not mechanical, not human. Something alive. I crept forward, my footsteps barely daring to echo. At the far end of the warehouse, beyond another row of crates, I found it. A containment chamber. Glass walls, thick cables running into it, and inside, restrained by heavy metal cuffs, was a creature. Humanoid, but not human. Its skin was pale gray, almost translucent. Its eyes, massive and black, darted toward me the moment I entered. It didn't thrash or roar. It just stared. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. For a second, I felt like it was inside my head, pressing thoughts against my skull. I stumbled back, gasping. And that's when I hit something with my elbow. A console. Alarms screamed to life instantly, red lights flashing across the room. The creature didn't move, but its eyes followed me. And I knew in that instant I was not supposed to see any of this. The alarm's wails shook the walls. Within seconds, I heard boots pounding above me. Security. My pulse hammered in my ears as I ran, weaving between crates, trying to retrace my steps. Shouts echoed, "Sector breach! Containment compromised!" I bolted up the stairwell, lungs burning, but at the top 2 guards were already storming down. I ducked behind a support beam, holding my breath as their flashlights cut through the shadows. I waited until they passed, then slipped back up, heart slamming so hard I thought they'd hear it. By the time I reached the corridor, more guards were flooding in from every direction. I ran, not caring about silence anymore. My badge somehow kept opening doors, almost like the system hadn't flagged me yet. I don't know how I made it back to the control room, but I did, sweating, shaking, eyes wide open. I wiped my console logs clean, deleted every trace I'd left. I knew they'd still find me, but I wanted at least a few minutes of head start. When my shift ended, I walked out like nothing happened. Nobody stopped me. No alarms outside, just the desert night, cool air brushing against my face. I drove away, forcing myself not to speed, not to look suspicious. But the whole time, I felt eyes on me. That was months ago. Since then, my life has never gone back to normal. My phone sometimes clicks when I answer it. Emails disappear from my inbox. I've seen black SUVs parked near my apartment, engines idling. And worst of all, sometimes when I close my eyes, I feel that pressure in my skull again. Like the creature is still there, reaching out, watching me. I've tried telling people, friends, family, even a journalist once. Every single time something happens, calls drop, recordings vanish. My words twist in ways I can't explain. It's like something is actively silencing me. So this recording, this story, is my last attempt. If you're hearing this, it means it slipped through, that someone, somewhere, didn't manage to erase it. Believe me or not. Call me crazy if you want, but I swear to you, beneath that desert, in that facility, there are things we were never meant to see, things not from this world. And if they're keeping it hidden, then maybe it's not just to protect us. Maybe it's to protect